Alright, you guys, so this video is in response to the Dragon Ball Z community, which has kind of driven me up a wall at this point. But I feel like this video needs to be made because I don't know why, but so many people are defending Dragon Ball Z Super, well, Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball Z Super, Episode 5 for that awful animation. Even when people will admit that it's bad, they'll still defend it. So I am here to put an end to all that nonsense, okay? Now, what a lot of people have defaulted to doing is having one or two people in the community who think they know it all about animation in Japan, even though we all live in America. Most of us do anyway. And they're saying like, oh, in Japan they're under budgeted and they have different animators and they don't have enough time and blah, blah, blah. Guys, why do you defend crap like this? Why? Yes, in Japan, animation is vastly different than it is in the United States, and in Canada, and in Mexico, and in wherever else they do animation. I don't know. But it's vastly different because it's, way over there, and they're very different about things, and their quality of animation is very different. And yes, some of that stuff they say might be true, while some others are misinformed. But, it doesn't matter, okay? Because while Studio Parrot and especially Toy Animation for some reason just struggle horribly with this weekly animation stuff because of poor planning and well, actually Studio Parrot is fairly good at planning. I mean, sometimes they have bad animators, but they know when to get the good animation, which Toy apparently does not know when to do, which they did in the 90s. They definitely knew when to put good animation in Dragon Ball Z. Now they have no idea what they're doing, I guess. But yeah, to elaborate, because in the last video I made, I was saying that Naruto Shippuden was like a bad anime and all this stuff. Some people are like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not talking about the story, like the actual Masashi Kishimoto story, which everybody has their opinion on that, and I definitely have my own opinion on it. But the animation, the reason it's bad is because A, it drags out like horribly bad. 2, it has tons of flashbacks and filler. And 3, sometimes the animation just freaking sucks. So that's why it's a bad anime, because when you compare Naruto Shippuden and Dragon Ball Super to some of the other animes made by these really great animation studios, despite all of these setbacks that apparently happen over in Japan, they do good on a weekly basis. Hunter x Hunter is one that I threw up last time, and you guys seem to have completely ignored that. I don't know why. But if so many anime companies can make good anime on a weekly basis, why can Toei not do it? Is it because they really suck at planning and they just figured they'd throw all this together at the last minute? Well, that is on them. That is not on us. We do not need to sit here and defend this crap, okay? Let's apply this to real life, okay? Let's say that you were going out to this nice new restaurant that's opening up, right? And the restaurant, the last week before it decides to open, they're like, oh crap, we need chefs. Let's hire some of these people off the street to do the cooking, right? Now, these people have had a week's worth of training, and their food, while some of it is good, some of it is not. Are you going to sit there and tell me that you're going to defend that food and say, I'm coming here again? No, you're not. You're not going to do that because you have a standard for yourself that you want good food, yes? Let's do it for movies, okay? Let's say that there's a movie coming out like The Fantastic Flop. Let's say that all the stuff that happened to it, and you watch it and you're like, well, the movie might have sucked, but A, B, and C or Y, and I'm gonna go back and support this movie and watch it again. No, you're not. That movie sucked. You're not gonna defend this movie, okay? It's the same thing with Dragon Ball Super. I don't care how much you like Dragon Ball Z. I love Dragon Ball Z, okay? I love the new movies that are coming out. I love Dragon Ball. I love all of it, except GT. I really don't like GT that much, but hey, some people like it, and that's okay, whatever. It's a done thing. But you don't need to defend this stuff, because if you defend this stuff, it will continue to happen. That is very important, you guys. If this keeps happening, it is because people are defending it, or Toy is just not listening to anybody, which, compared to some of the other animation teams, they're very distant from the real world. They're just now letting Funimation get the rights to do these movies, which is ridiculous. Because Dragon Ball Z is bigger over here than it is in Japan, honestly. But anyway, that's kind of off the topic. But you guys don't need to defend this stuff, okay? You need to have standards, and if we complain, stuff will get done, okay? Let's look at Naruto Shippuden again. I know I like to pick on Naruto, sorry. But the Pain arc, okay? You can't tell me that the entire Pain arc was animated well, because it was not, okay? Kakashi versus Pain, go look that up. Even if you've not seen Naruto Shippuden, that was horribly animated. Naruto in his Six Tails form, it was 6, right? Yeah, I think it was 6. It's been so long. Six Tails versus Pain. That fight was also animated completely horribly and kind of slapstick, to be quite honest. And I feel like that kind of was what happened with this one too. But you know what? I'm going to say this right now. The Naruto versus Pain fight was better than episode 5 of Dragon Ball Z, because while Dragon Ball Z, or why do I keep saying Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Super episode 5, while it had some good shots in it, it sucked. The actual fight was awful. There was nothing redeemable about it. At least with Naruto versus Pain, there was some really cool moments in it, Even though the animation was like what happened, it was still entertaining. I mean, this is just laughably entertaining, this Dragon Ball Super fight between Goku and Beerus. Some people are like, oh, this fight isn't important. Yeah, it was pretty important. Again, I will reiterate that. It was important. And if you guys think that this is just because they're saving up money for the animation, no, they're not. The next episode also looks like it's going to have some bad animation. So, don't defend this stuff, okay? Just it just gives me a headache when people who review this, and I mean every anime community person's doing this because they don't have any balls to call out this episode for what it really is. You need to be honest. You need to say, this is not okay. Okay? Toy Animation makes a ton of money. Don't tell me they don't have a good enough budget to get really good animators, okay? They should have planned this series out better. They should have said, you know what? Dragon Ball Super, we've announced it. It's coming out. Everybody's looking forward to it. Let's do some animation calls. Let's see if we can get some dedicated animators that we can call in every couple of episodes, and they can switch places, and then we'll be all set like they did with Dragon Ball Z. They had consistent animators keep coming back every couple of episodes, and you can tell because the quality is definitely there. And even if, this is another thing people are doing, some people are pointing out the bad animation shots that were in Dragon Ball Z. Even the episodes that weren't perfectly animated still looked better in the 90s, or it started in the 80s, didn't it? Like the late 80s? Whatever, you guys know what I'm talking about. Even the badly animated episodes were better, 100 times better than what we're getting in Dragon Ball Super. And that's sad. I will say that episodes 1 through 3, well, actually, 4 was pretty decent. But the outlines were just kind of weird. But episode 1 through 3 were good. They were very well animated. Nothing was happening in episode 1 through 3, sure, but they were pretty to look at. Episode 4, like I said, the outlines were really weird, but it was still good. It was just weird. And episode 5 just sucked. So, am I telling you guys, Dragon Ball Super is just going to be an awful anime? It's never going to be good? Drop it immediately? No, I'm not saying that. I'm still going to give Dragon Ball Super a chance because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I want to see what's going to happen next. But I'm not going to stand for this crap. I'm not going to do it. So, I hope you guys don't either. Anyway, I think I've went on long enough and explained my points here. Don't go in the comments and act like you know how animation in Japan works, because if you know anything about it, it's because you heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else, who heard it from someone else. So, don't play that game, because you really don't know as much as you think you know. Anyway, regardless as to what goes into making the animation, we all know that there's plenty of animation studios in Japan that make consistently awesome animation, so we know that this can be done properly, and we want it to be done. Because in Dragon Ball and in Dragon Ball Z, it happened. We want it with Dragon Ball Super. We want this to be an awesome anime. So do it, Toy. Do it. Just do it. Anyway, enough Shia LaBeouf. This is all I had for now. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. Make sure to thumbs us up and share it around. And I'll catch you guys later. One last thing that I wanted to say before I go is while I was finding some images to put in for this video, I found an article on Forbes, I believe it was. I'm going to leave the article in the description below for you guys to read. But Japan is also very, very pissed off at Dragon Ball Super right now. So it is not just us over in the United States. It is Japan as well. Everybody over there is pissed off. So if you guys think this is just an isolated incident over here with us, inconsiderate, unappreciative, spoiled little entitled people, no. People over in Japan, they're pissed off too, and rightfully so. And I'm glad because Japan, they know what they want. They want some quality. So I'm glad that Japan is sticking up for themselves. They will get something done because obviously this community, that they don't know what's going on. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there just so you guys who are going to sit there in the comments and defend this crap know that Japan's not defending it. So just throwing that out there. Anyway, catch you guys later.